Hey everybody, and welcome to another video. And you know what really bothers me? Actually, a lot of things bother me, but you know what really bothers me is movies that are really, really good, but they don't get the appreciation like some others do. Like, there's a lot of bad movies that get so much hype and people love them. They do so on the box office, people buy them and shit. And you're like, why? And then there's these movies that are so good, but no one sees them. They do poorly in the box office, but they do good critically. And yeah, these are what I call overlooked movies. Some people say underrated, but yeah, these are some. I'm gonna make a list of the top 10 most overlooked movies. These are films that I find are very overlooked. A lot of people don't see them. Some people have not even heard of some of these films. Believe me, some of these films, people will be like, "What's that?" Yeah, I hope after watching this list, you'll give these movies a try because they're awesome movies, and I wish people saw them. So there we go. My top 10 most overlooked movies. First, before we get to the top 10, here's some 5 honorable mentions. My 5 honorable mentions are Bottle Rocket, Creepshow, Fright Night, The Ghost Rider, and Fearless. Not the Jet Li movie, the Jeff Bridges movie. I know a lot of people probably have heard of some of those films, but again, not the majority, though, because they didn't do good box office-wise, and they're very good movies and critically acclaimed movies, and some of them have been nominated for Oscars, but yeah, give those movies a watch. But yeah, let's start with my number 10, though. My number 10 is the movie Brick. This is one of Joseph Gordon-Levitt's very first movies, and it's fantastic. Fantastic. It's a Canadian film. So yeah, that's probably why some people have never heard of it, but it is so freaking good. It's very neo-noir, and it's very thrilling and very atmospheric, which I love. And some people may not get into it because some people don't like neo-noir type movies, but if you do, you'll just eat this up. This is such a fantastic movie. And the story about this movie is about a high school boy who actually loses his girlfriend, and no cops they can't figure out who did it, so he basically starts his own little investigation, and he investigates who killed his girlfriend. It's almost like a detective story, but with high school students, and yeah, you may think that sounds lame. This movie does it in a very clever way. Rian Johnson directed this movie, who did Looper, and he did a fantastic job. It's so well directed, so well written, and it's got a very, very, very good 3-act structure, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he's awesome, and this is actually... Coming number 9 is actually a pretty recent movie, and that's the movie Horns. Yeah, I bet you either you're thinking, like, that movie with the Daniel Radcliffe with the devil horns? That sounds so lame. It's actually not a bad movie. It's a pretty good movie. Yeah, this movie came out actually last year, and yeah, it didn't do good box office-wise, and critically it was so-so, but I really liked this movie, and yeah, I liked it, how original it kind of was. It's, but a guy who actually loses his girlfriend, and everyone thinks he did it, and he's almost starting to believe he almost did it, but all of a sudden he gets a curse put on him, and he has these devil horns, and anytime someone's around him, they spill their darkest secrets around him. And yeah, and the more and more people he gets in contact with, the more and more he finds out who really killed his girlfriend, which I really like. I really like. This movie is very, very dark, and especially with its comedy, like, it's a kind of a dark comedy at times, and yeah, it's a little funny at times, but it's a little messed up, but I call this movie more of a horror kind of movie. It's like a horror comedy drama, because the first act of the movie is actually establishing character, and they actually go into the backstory of Daniel Radcliffe and Juno Temple's character, and yeah, so it's kind of a drama too, but it's pretty horror genre-ish, but yeah, and supernatural, but yeah, it's such a good movie. Daniel Radcliffe is fantastic. He doesn't have his accent in the movie. When he does an American accent, it sounds actually pretty good. I thought it sounded kind of stupid, but yeah, there's a scene. He did a Saturday Night Live skit when he did an American accent, and yeah, it sounded kind of lame, but yeah, he pulled it off. He could pull off a good American. Good job. But yeah, I liked this movie. I liked how different and unique and original it was, and yes, movies these days aren't very original, and this movie was very original. I really liked its idea, and I guess sometimes it gets a little silly, and yeah, I can see why people would find this movie a little disturbing or off-putting, but I was into this movie. I was kind of into it. I enjoyed it. It was definitely not my favorite movie of last year. Not even close. Not even top 20, but it's good. It's pretty overlooked. A lot of people have either never heard of it or say, oh, that movie looks stupid. It's not. It's good. It's clever, and it's original. Check it out. Coming number 8 is the movie Tape. This is a Richard Linklater film, and oh, I love Richard Linklater. Almost all his movies are freaking fantastic. The Before trilogy, Dazed and Confused, School of Rock, Me and Orson Welles, so many of his films, Boyhood, so freaking good. And yeah, this is a very overlooked movie. I was gonna say The Waking Life, but actually more and more people are starting to watch The Waking Life, and which is good. That's a great film, but this movie is very overlooked. This movie is only about 3 people in a motel room. That's it. And it's Ethan Hawke, Robert Sean Leonard, and Uma Thurman are in it. And basically, these 2 high school buddies meet up in a motel. And basically, Ethan Hawke confronts his buddy that he raped his girlfriend in high school. And then when his buddy admits it, he gets it on tape, and he wants to out him. And he basically brings Uma Thurman, who plays the ex-girlfriend. He wants to admit to her and make everything all better. And Ethan Hawke himself is battling his own demons with his drug addiction and everything. So yeah, it's a lot about rape, drug addiction, friend problems, a lot of issues in this movie, and it's so freaking good. The acting is what makes this movie good. Robert Sean Leonard and Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman are great. Uma Thurman doesn't come till like halfway through, but she's good. Ethan Hawke is phenomenal in this movie, and yeah, it's so dark, but I loved this movie. I loved how simple it is. It's just an idea of these guys in a motel room talking, and that's the thing about Linklater movies. The dialogue is just so riveting, and the characters are just so real, and yeah, give this movie a watch. Even if you think you've seen every Richard Linklater film, I bet you probably skipped this one, but give this one a watch. It's an awesome movie. Coming in number 7 is They Live. This is a John Carpenter film. Oh, huge John Carpenter fan. Love John Carpenter. He's in my top 10 favorite directors. I love his silly movies. I love his style. And They Live is a great film. This is his most overlooked film. And it's about the whole world has basically been taken over by aliens. And the whole world, and no one knows it because they look like human. But when a guy finds these sunglasses, through the sunglasses, he can see who the aliens are and who the humans are, which I really like. The idea is, like, I haven't seen, like, an idea like this in a movie, which I love. It's so original and so fresh. And no one has heard of this movie. No one at all. Every time I try to mention this film to people, they're like, oh, what's that? And I'm like, you know John Carpenter? They're like, yeah, he directed this. Yeah, this is a great film. It's such a unique premise, and yeah, it's a little cheesy at times. Like, the main actor in the movie isn't particularly good, but Keith David's in it, and he's awesome and everything. So, yeah, it's a great movie. It's got some pretty decent action. It's got a good twist in the movie, and, yeah, the idea is just so original. So, yeah, watch it for its originality. It's so good. You'll be entertained for sure. Coming in number 6 is The Dead Zone. This is actually a David Cronenberg film. And, yeah, I'm a big fan of David Cronenberg, and this is one of his older movies. This is based off a Stephen King novel. And this movie is about a guy, when he touches people, he can see how they die, or see how they're gonna maybe commit a murder and stuff, which is pretty cool. Christopher Walken plays the role. And yeah, this is another unique idea. All these films that are so overlooked, they're so original and fresh. Like, why aren't people watching movies? They're fresh and new. No, we have to watch another fucking Transformers or Twilight movie. No, watch something new and original. And yeah, that's what I loved about The Dead Zone. It's new and it's original. And yeah, I don't need to go into details of this movie. There's a lot of shit that happens, and I'll never spoil the ending. The ending is very good to this movie, and Christopher Walken's awesome. And David Cronenberg's a fantastic director. He can write a good script, but also direct a solid flick. Check this one out. Coming at number 5 is Blood Simple. Blood Simple is a Coen Brothers movie that stars M. Emmett Walsh and Frances McDormand. And this is kind of a low-budget indie film, and honestly, everything about this movie I just love. This is probably like my 4th favorite Coen Brothers movies, and yeah, I love to make a top list of the Coen Brothers movies, but maybe some other time, but yeah. This is actually my 4th favorite film, and I love it. I love this movie, and I love its style, typical Coen Brothers style, and I love it's got some dark humor in it, and I love just how simple it is, and I love how it's edited. This is a very well edited film, and it's very solidly directed, and it's very well written. And Frances McDormand, this is before she did Fargo. This is a phenomenal performance she gives. And Emmett Walsh is great in it too, and yeah, this is a very kind of twisted type movie, but I love it. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's a good film. Coming number 4 is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I'm so glad this movie is actually getting a little more popular now, because this is actually this is my top 30 favorite films of all time. I adore this movie. This is a Shane Black film. Love Shane Black. And yeah, it stars Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer. And this is a freaking awesome movie. Again, a neo-noir type movie, but this is a straight-up, like, action, comedy, crime film. It's hilarious. It is freaking hilarious. I won't say a single joke in this movie because you just gotta watch it. It's freaking hilarious. And this is the movie that Downey Jr. did just after his addiction, which is good. This is the movie that brought Downey Jr. back into movies, which I liked. My paper just fell there. Ignore that. But yeah, Downey Jr. is fantastic in this movie. He's very funny. He's very likable, and you just love seeing him try to go through being a detective, which is really cool. And Val Kilmer, who plays a gay guy, yeah, come on again. Whew, she looks great in this film. She looks very good. She's okay of an actress, but yeah, whew, she looks great in this movie. And yeah, this movie is hilarious, and the action's good, the story's solid, the writing is fantastic, and yeah, I love this movie. It's hilarious. Check it out. Coming number 3 is a movie I know pretty much no one has even heard of this movie, but yeah, that's Pontypool. Pontypool is a Canadian movie. This movie takes place in Ontario, and it's about a radio host who's doing a broadcast at nighttime, and during his broadcast, the zombie apocalypse happens. Yeah, how cool does that sound, right? I'm not going to say any more. See this movie. It's well acted, it's well edited, it's well shot, and it's got a very unique take on zombies. So yeah, check this movie out. I know a lot of people have not even seen this movie. Check it out. It's awesome. The idea itself is not just awesome, but the movie's awesome. The actors are good, the writing is good, and the premise is very, very, very unique. Love this movie. Coming number 2 is actually a classic, Dial M for Murder. Everyone knows who Alfred Hitchcock is, but I think on a lot of his films, this is the most overlooked film. Everyone talks about Alfred Hitchcock movies like Psycho, Rare Window, Vertigo, The Birds, Rebecca, Notorious, all his movies, and they all just go gaga over them. And you should. Alfred Hitchcock is amazing, and every single one of those movies I just named are awesome, especially Psycho and Rare Window, one of my favorites. Yeah, Dial M for Murder is a great movie. The story's really good. I love the story about a guy who's trying to kill his wife and hires his best friend to do it and everything, and his wife is cheating on him, and the guy she's cheating on with is trying to figure out who's framing her. Did she really do it and shit? Yeah, this is a really good movie. Like all Alfred Hitchcock movies, they're just so well written and so well directed, and I love the style of a Hitchcock movie, and I love this movie, and I love how it all plays out. My number 1 most overlooked movie is Safety Not Guaranteed. Yeah, this is a pretty overlooked movie. This movie came out in 2012. And the story of this movie is about a reporter girl who finds an article in the newspaper about a guy who's looking for a partner to go time traveling with. And he says, safety not guaranteed. So, doing an undercover news article, she goes undercover and wants to be his partner. And she doesn't know whether this guy's crazy or he's actually legit. He's actually building a time machine. And yeah, again, I won't spoil the ending. The ending is freaking great. But yeah, this is a really good drama comedy. And yeah, it's really, really well acted too. Mark Duplass, Aubrey Plaza is in this movie. And they're great. Their chemistry with each other is very, very good. And yeah, I enjoyed this movie. It's very funny and very entertaining. And again, it's full of heart. It's a very heartwarming kind of movie. And yeah, I loved this movie. And I recommend this movie actually the most to a lot of people. I'm like, if you've seen Safety Not Guaranteed, watch it. You'll love it. It's good for guys, girls, couples, even maybe not a younger crowd, but like a teen crowd, an older crowd. Like it's good for a lot of people. This movie. It's a very heartwarming film, and the ending, the ending is great. And yeah, Kristen Bell has a cameo, and she's decent in the movie. But yeah, check this movie out. It's entertaining as hell. And yeah, so that is my top 10 most overlooked films, and I hope you enjoyed it. And please, comment below, give me your top 10 most overlooked films. Comment below, let me know. And if you like this video, please like and subscribe to this channel, and join the dark side.